Good morning, everybody, or good afternoon, or good evening, depending where you are in the world. Happy Valentine's Day! Hi, my name is Alison. I am the host and teacher of Engli-teach, and welcome to your live English lesson. It's going to be good. Okay, first of all, let me know whereabouts you are in the world. In the comments, say I'm in Egypt, or I'm in Iraq, or I'm in France, or I'm in London. Wherever you are, drop it in the comments. I like to know where everybody is from. Okay, so we have a great lesson today. It's all about Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day, okay? Do you celebrate this in your country? I'm going to put it up here. Valentine's Day, okay? In my country, in England, we celebrate Valentine's Day. We celebrate it on the 14th of February, which is today. But I think if you're going to show someone that you love them, which is what Valentine's Day is really all about, you shouldn't just do it one day of the year. You should do it every day. So, hello, good morning. I'm looking at your comments. So, good morning. Hello from Iraq. Happy Valentine's. Yes, I think I should get myself some Valentine's hearts for the lesson, actually. What do you think, everyone? Let's have some Valentine's hearts. Okay, do you have a Valentine? If you don't worry, because I don't have a Valentine. In fact, my Valentine is everybody that comes to my English lessons. So if you don't have a partner or a boyfriend or a husband or a girlfriend or a wife, and everybody else is celebrating today, then that's okay, because it's the same for me. We can celebrate like this together. We can join in Valentine's together. It's not for everybody, but anyway, we can still be romantic. Okay, so what is romance? Well, this here, what I've got here, is a really good kind of picture, a really good idea. Quite often when we want to be romantic, we say, oh, I wish he would sweep me off on a white horse, go for a ride on horseback, okay, a ride on horseback. Or we say, oh, my Prince Charming came on a horse and we rode on horseback. So going for a ride on horseback, which is what you can see this couple doing here, is quite often what people do when they just get married, or when they want to be really, really romantic. So I'm just gonna, okay. So we went for a ride on horseback. It was so romantic. Now when you say so, listen to how I say it. It's not so romantic, it's so romantic. And what I'm doing when I say this like this, I am extending the long vowel sound, which is oh, so, O is a vowel. I always talk about the vowels. It's so important in pronunciation, and so many schools, teachers and classes just don't teach it. So here we go. A, E, I, O and U, which is what we're doing here. These are vowels, okay? So when I would say so romantic, okay, I'm emphasizing the O, okay? I'm using the O and I'm emphasizing the O, which is here. So romantic. So when you're using and talking about romance, and when you're talking about being in love and things like this, you will hear that people's vowel sounds are a lot longer. And if you really want to, what we say in English, which is woo, okay, woo, if you really want to woo someone, be that a lady or a man, the best way to do that with language is to pay special attention to pronunciation. It's not always what you say, but how you say it, okay? This makes the difference, especially when you're talking about love, okay? Very important. Okay, so let's move on and see what I have ready for you on the next slide. Okay, so lots of people will understand what this is. What you can see in this picture is a couple, and they are obviously together, talking, chatting. But actually, if you look and observe really carefully, you can see the girl is laughing and looking at the boy, and he is laughing and looking, and there is a positive energy between them both. Now, when you're doing this with someone that you really, really like, we call this flirting, okay, flirting. So if you flirt with someone, what you're actually doing is you're being playful with them. So with your words, but also your gestures, how you look at them, how you hold your head, how you smile, if you smile. What you're doing is you're showing attraction. And it starts a lot with the gestures, and then the words and the language frame that. So it's really, really important. So flirting. Now, this is what these people are actually doing, this couple are actually doing. But let's look at how we use the word flirting in everyday English, because that's what you're interested in. Okay, so I'm going to say something like, look at Claire flirting with Pierre. It's so obvious that she likes him. Did you hear that? It's so obvious. So with my long vowel sound, I'm emphasizing the so, like it's really like big, really flirting. It's so obvious. Look at Claire. I'll put it up here so you can read it with me if you want to. Okay. Look at Claire flirting with Pierre. It's so obvious that she likes him. Obvious. Now, if you have any questions as I'm going along, drop it in the comments, okay? All right. So, are you doing any flirting today, anybody? Are you going to use today as your opportunity to flirt with someone? On the 14th of February, which is today, it's quite often a good opportunity to flirt with someone, because you can get away with it a bit more because it's because it's Valentine's Day. So I'm going to tell you about another word actually, which is called crush. Crush. Does anybody know what crush means? I'm going to look in the comments. Does anybody know what the word crush means? And before anyone says it, yes, you can crush a grape, or yes, you can crush grapes, crush an empire. But I'm not talking about crush in that way. That's not how I'm talking about how we use it. What I'm talking about is this type of crush, Eden. Where is my camera? This type of crush. Sorry about that, guys. This type of crush. Okay, what do you think this is? If I say crush, can you explain it? Would you know how to use it? Let me look in the comments. My heart is boom, 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 boom. So this basically is describing when you really, really like someone a lot. Like, oh, I like them so much, I can't think about anything else. Then you have a crush on them, okay? Then you have a crush on them. And I'm going to give you an example of how we use this in everyday English, okay? You could say, stop looking at him. You can't fool me. And your friend would go, what? I can see you have a really huge crush on him. I can see you have a huge crush on him. This means that you really like someone a lot and it's quite obvious. But sometimes you can have a crush on someone and nobody knows really apart from you, unless you make it really, really obvious. Now, another way we can use the word crushing in more kind of informal language is like this. I'm so crushing on Jane. So if you see a girl that you really like, or a lady you really like, you could say to your friend like, oh my gosh, I am so crushing on Jane. Or you can use it for a man. It's not just for females. All of these phrases you can use for men and ladies, okay? And love is for everybody, you know? So, I'm so crushing on Jane, or I'm so crushing on Tom. Listen again how I emphasize so, the long vowel sound. I'm so crushing on Jane. Now, if I just said, I'm so crushing on Jane, it's kind of, I'm so crushing on Jane. Use the English language like real English people. I'm so crushing. You almost have to think you're in a theatre sometimes when you're learning English. Voices go up and down, the sounds are long and short. They're not identical speech, sound, lengths and syllable controls. They're all completely different, and that is what makes a really good English speaker, when you really listen to how native people speak like me and you mirror it, okay? Okay, so another word you can say is I'm so into him, or I'm so into her. This means that you really, really like them, like, oh, heart stop, ah. I'm so into him, I'm so into her. Or you can say, oh, I really fancy him, or I really fancy her. Fancy. And that kind of just means like you really like them, you're really attracted to them, you find them really appealing, even maybe sexy, you know. You can say that, obviously, not to the person, unless you know them very well. That's a kind of a bit of a taboo word, actually, so I'm going to explain that. Now, the word sexy, let's talk about the word sexy. Okay, now, if a man came up to me, someone I didn't know, a complete stranger, and said, "Oh, you're so sexy," I would think he is really weird, and that would be an inappropriate comment to make. I wouldn't like that. That would make me think, "Oh, he's a bit strange, that's a bit weird." So when you use words like sexy, you should really be using them in a boundary that you understand. So somebody that you know a little bit or that you know a lot, because it can be offensive if you use it in the wrong way, okay? So that's quite important. Okay, let me look at the comments. Shout out to Ali Malik. Hello Ali, hello Toot Toot Kampour. Hope I said that's okay. Hello enfant infatigable. C'est ça? Enfant infatigable. That's French. I also speak French and I teach it. Okay, wonderful. Yes. And of course, they say globally that the French language is the language of love, which is why so many people go to Paris. I love Paris. It's so romantic. Beautiful place. Okay. So let's move on. So we've got the crush covered. Now, let's just say that you know someone English, or you've come to England and you really, really like someone. You like them to the point that you want to ask them out to have dinner with you. Okay? So, how would you do that? How would you actually do this? Now in England we have this wonderful program on the telly actually called The Dateables, which is where people go on blind dates. And actually I need to explain, okay, these up here, I'll do it with mine. These are dates, okay? These are dates. These are dates that you eat, okay? They are dates that you eat. But I'm talking about going on a date, okay? Going on a date. So there are dates that you eat, okay? And then there is going on a date, and that's what we're talking about. We're talking about going on a date. Okay, so how would you ask someone out? How would you ask me out? Say you want to take me out for dinner. What would you say to me in English that would be polite and would make me want to come? Providing you're my Prince Charming, of course. What would you say? Let's have a look, because even English people get this so wrong. So as a lady, I'm going to show you and teach you the right way to ask somebody out, potentially. Okay, of course, you know, you can put your own spin on this, as they say. So the first one is, are you going on a blind date, or are you going on a double date, or are you just going on a date? That's the first thing, okay? There are 3 types of dates. Which one are you going on? What do they mean? Okay, a blind date is when you are going on a date with someone and you don't know who it is. Okay, so a blind date is going on a date with someone and you don't know who it is. Who you don't know. Okay, quite often friends do this. Oh, I'm going to set you up on a blind date. Okay, I'm going to set you up on a blind date. And that basically means that they are going to get you paired up like this for a date. A double date is when you have one couple and another couple and you all go out together. Okay, that's a double date. And just a date is just a normal date like this. Okay? Alright, so what would you say? This is what you would say. If a man said this to me and I liked him, I would probably go, okay. So what would he say? Would you like to go out on a date? If people say, would you like to go out on a date with me? I'm like, that's a little bit schoolboy. So let's talk men, shall we? Would you like to go out on a date? Or can I ask you out on a date? Now that is very appealing because you are giving the person, the lady or the man, the opportunity to say no if they don't want to. So that's like giving them options. And when you're asking someone out, you have this fear of, are they going to say yes or are they going to say no? And equally, the person who is being asked out on the date will also be feeling, oh, I don't want to say yes, or yes, I want to say yes, or I don't want to say no. So these are both important. Okay, so can I ask you out on a date? Now, if someone said that to me, I would be like, oh, that's nice. Can I ask you out on a date? And I'd say, absolutely. And maybe when you go out on a date, you find that you both really, really like each other. And we call that, it's a match made in heaven. A match made in heaven means that you both get on really, really, really well. Okay, go Dutch. Go Dutch. What does go Dutch mean? Go Dutch means that you both pay for the meal. So you go 50-50, okay? You both pay for the meal. You both pay for the meal. You go 50-50. Now, if a man asks a lady out, or a woman, or a man asks a man, or a woman asks a woman, whoever is doing the asking, I think really you shouldn't expect someone to pay 50-50. I don't think that's very romantic. If I'm asked out on a date, I don't expect to pay. If I'm made to pay 50%, go Dutch, then I think, wow, that's not very romantic, because we all want to be swept off our feet like on the horseback and carried away into the world of romance. And part of doing that is by making someone feel truly valued. Now, you devalue someone if you tell them they have to pay half of the bill, so don't do that, it's not romantic. Okay, right, so good, we've got that one out of the way. So let's say that you really, really like someone, you've gone out on your date, you really, really liked them. Now, what would you say to do it again? What would be the ideal thing to say? You could say it like this. Now here we have English politeness as well as a future invitation, so a future conditional as well as a past. So it's quite interesting, this clause. I've really enjoyed this evening with you. Can we do this again? Okay. I've really enjoyed this evening with you. Can we do this again? Question mark, question. Lift your voice up. I really enjoyed doing this, or I've really enjoyed this evening with you. Can we do this again? Or romantically, I've really enjoyed this evening with you. Can we do it again? It depends how well your evening went. So that's a very polite way of asking someone whether they liked the time that you spent together and asking them out on a future date. Okay, so there we go. Let me see, do I have anything else that I can add to that? No, do you? Any questions, Ali? Can I ask you to go out on a date? What, me? I'm going to get loads of date requests now, aren't I? It might be a long air flight. Okay, right, let's go on. So, what are the typical gifts? When it's Valentine's Day, we have all of these wonderful things in the shops everywhere. Yesterday, my son went to get his girlfriend a card, and watching people at buying these gifts was quite an experience. I wish I'd filmed it actually, it would have been brilliant for the lesson. So we have lots of hearts, so you see people with lots of hearts, buying lots of balloons, hearts are everywhere, and the typical Valentine gifts are perfume, aftershave, flowers, chocolates, balloons and jewellery. This is quite traditional and customary in England. Is it the same in your country? Do you offer different types of gifts that are different to these? If you do, let me know. I want to know the types of gifts you give for Valentine's. Nothing weird, okay? Just saying, don't send me any kind of weird things or weird anything, pictures, anything like that, okay? So let's just keep it cool, people. Okay, right, next. I'm going to move on to this because if you can see down here, we've got a picture and inside there are the words which are phrases that we use in lots of cards and spoken English. Every minute that is spent with you is a minute every minute that is spent without you is a minute that is wasted. That's so lovely. So that means that somebody really, really, really cherishes your time. Now, I have another one because I really love this. And this just gives you an idea of how beautiful you can make your communication with the right type of English. Now, when I hear English people in particular using bad language or limited language or rude language, if it is someone I know, I will always say, do you know how many words there are in the English language? Do you know the thousands and millions of ways you can express yourself with the English language? And because of that, I think everybody should try to express themselves as well and as positively as possible. And with that, I'm going to give you a couple of English love phrases, kind of idioms, okay? You may hold my hand for a while, but you hold my heart forever. Now, that's just so poetic. It's like a poem, isn't it? And it's really, really lovely. I love that. You may hold my hand for a while, but you hold my heart forever. If you go on a date, a couple of dates, and you say that to the person, the man or the woman, guaranteed they're going to fall in love with you. Okay, next. Sometimes I can't see myself with you. I can't see myself with you. I can only see you. So this means that the person is so in love with you, they can't see anything else. They can just only see you. So that's really saying that you are their entire world. So that's really quite lovely. Okay. Sometimes I can't see myself with you. I can only see you. It's quite a tricky one as well, that one. Okay. You mean more to me than you will ever know. That just means that, you mean more to me than you will ever know. So the feeling, this is about feelings. This is a language. These are expressions that are talking about feelings, how we feel inside, in our minds, in our hearts, how we feel. So I'm going to put it up here because it's quite nice. These are expressions. Expressions, would be good if I spelt that correctly. What's happened to the X? The X does not seem to want to work. These are expressions, okay, related to feelings and emotions. I'm going to put feelings and emotions. You mean more to me than you will ever know. So there you go, everybody. So today we've talked about dating, the things you can say on dates, the things you should not say, the things, some expressions. We've had some phrasal verbs in there. Do I have any questions? I'm going to quickly look. Enfant non fatigue là. J'ai lu votre comment quoi. So I just said to the one of the people attending the lesson today about their wonderful little gift idea. Wonderful, thank you very much for that. Okay, everybody, so that's the end of our lesson today. If you go along to Engli-teach.com and create your free account, okay, your free lifetime access account, inside of that there is also a worksheet if you want to download it, a PDF on romance and things for Valentine's Day, sentences as well as phrases and vocabulary. So you might want to download that, screenshot it, put it on your phone, and then you can keep practicing. Or just watch this on replay. Thank you so much, Ali. And tomorrow we have a live lesson, this week as well, and maybe some of next week. It's all about business English, okay? So we will be carrying on with our live lessons on business English. I've had lots of replies to my question this week, which was, what industry do you work in? And I will formulate the vocabulary for the English around that. So far I have teaching, medical and accountancy. Those are the three top industries that you have told me. If you're something different, if you work in a different business, or your work is different to accountancy, teaching or medical, then drop it in the comments, tell me, because then I will pick out particular words and phrases and expressions and different things in grammar to help you that are specific to your everyday English, because obviously Engli-teach is about teaching you English every day, and lots of that is about teaching you good modern English that is used in everyday communication, not stuff that's dug away in textbooks that people just don't use anymore. Okay, so there you go. Thank you. Oh, in the oil industry. So are you an engineer, Ali? An engineer or a salesman? Let me put that up here. An engineer or a salesman or something else? Or something else? Let me know. Drop it in the comments. I do go through the comments, as you will see. When you drop me comments, I do reply. When people say you haven't answered my comment yet and I reply, what was your comment? Then you need to drop it again because it would have got lost. Sometimes I get, as you've seen, 2,000 and 3,000 comments. So I do go through them all, but sometimes they kind of aren't that easy to find. So drop it again if I ask you to, please. Anyway, everybody, big loves. Happy Valentine's Day from Alison at Engli-teach. And don't worry if you don't have your Valentine. It will come. This is what I tell myself. Anyway, goodbye, everybody. Have a lovely day, a lovely evening wherever you are. And I will see you back here tomorrow for another live English lesson. Goodbye. Yeah.